It's interesting that they would use PTSD to discredit him for a war veteran. That seems insane. You're shaming someone for seeking help from something that most soldiers come back and have to deal with. That's really insane.
It's low, is what it is.
Well, it doesn't make sense either. It just doesn't make sense. Like, how can you do that? It doesn't make sense in terms of the reader's perception. Because I think most readers are going to look at that and go, well, the guy came back from war and he sought help. How many guys come back from war and they're fine?
Doing, and I think it's a good step.
I find this one a little weird too. The exercise of eminent domain.
Yeah,
they can go and take anything from anyone who's got anything.
Yeah, look at this. The federal government shall exercise eminent domain over any and all recovered technologies of unknown origin and biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or entities in the interests of the public good. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Alien Addict. It is fine, luxurious Sunday. Before I bring the guys on, Daddy's got some business to take care of. You will find in... Oh, I just burped down the microphone. I'm sorry about that. In the description down below, you will find there is a new Linktree link that's got all of the links in it. So all the links that are usually missing because Ollie's lazy, they're all in there. So if you want to, if the podcast links are in there, the Patreon links are in there. We now have an Odyssey account. If Odyssey is something you use, that link's in there. Rockfin links in there. The Rumble link. If you haven't followed us on Rumble, because most of you haven't, we could do with you doing it. They're all there, because I think some people don't even know this show's a podcast that you can get in audio form on all of the podcast places. So go check the Linktree out and take what you want from it. Also, if you want to help us out, you can become a channel member. As I said, the Patreon links are in the Linktree, so you can go to the Patreon to do that sort of thing. You can also now obviously, I've been a content creator for some time. I've used this company before when I was a podcast host to do jingles, and I'm a terrible artist, so I've got a few. I had a few logos and stuff done by them. But in the description down below, there is a Fiverr affiliate link. So if you need anything done by a professional or just someone that's better than you are at doing it, go to Fiverr, type in like pianist, drummer, graphic designer, accountant, and you'll be able to get it done for not a lot of money, as long as you get the good reviewed ones. And if you use that link, we'll get a little bit back from it as well. So I think that's all of the stuff that I need to say, that we need to start saying on every single show, because if there's one thing we're really bad at, it's self-publication of things and ways we can make money from doing this. David, Oliver, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I look tanned.
You don't. You look pink.
I do love pink. You're right. Have you changed your spots to the blood clot black?
This is going to go well.
Shh, Ollie, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I just don't know what I make of this background.
What? Nothing.
It's fine. Carry on.
I was going to say, the Grush interview. Sorry, the Grush thing on Rogan about maybe him possibly getting interviewed on Joe Rogan. Do you think there's a chance of it?
Extremely likely.
I think there's an extremely big chance of it because I think it's weird that all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, Corbell and Help
Nap.
Huh?
Knapp
George Knapp.
are back.
You
on it.
always struggle with George Knapp for some reason.
I know, yeah. I'm always,
You just like
I'm always caught sleeping on Nap. But
I
yeah,
shouldn't even find that
terrible.
funny, but Jesus Christ.
I see. I'd have thought if he was, if they were going to come on, you'd think it would have been directly after the hearing. I find the gap weird.
I don't.
think
They talked about it on the show a little bit.
Mm.
Things he's struggling and going with and through.
Mhm.
So
No, not Grush. I mean, just getting Corbell and Knapp on. I'd have thought that would have happened directly after the hearing. I find the gap odd.
You found the Joe Rogan gaps is off.
A little
It should
bit.
happen earlier. Yeah. You're right with what you say, because you've said for a while now that he has been like kind of off that UFO train for some time. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think you said this to me the other day. I think Rogan's going to hit it again. I think he's realized he's got to hit it again.
Yeah.
So he started with the two guys, and let's face it, love them or hate them, Rogan and Knapp are the two guys. They are the two. I would say right now, they are the two biggest guys in this field. Would I be wrong there, boys? Or am I just completely speaking out my ass?
they have been for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know, since they paired up and he started putting out documentaries.
Dave, people do not want to admit to that, and they hate to say that, but they are the biggest guys in this thing right now.
That's how you know they are, because it doesn't matter if people say it or not.
Yeah, and it's see, the good thing about Corbell is that all people do is say how he's fucking stupid. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing. And so we're simultaneously told to believe by people he's a moron, but on the other side of it, he's also capable of lying for 3 hours straight about a subject.
Multiple times.
Yeah, those things don't marry up. Like you can't be a moron and lie for that long. And so enthusiastically, that's the thing. And that's one of the things I started thinking when I was listening to that podcast is, and in some ways, I think this is slightly more worrying than the idea of like the psyop and the blue beam and all that sort of stuff. Is like, what if it's true? What if it's all true? Like, what if what if we have like crashed stuff from UFOs? What if we don't know how to do it? You know, and it is just this. It's been sat in this like part
Hanger.
No, compartmentalized hell.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
where
yeah.
it's just being revolved round and round and round, but without any major breakthrough on it. Meanwhile, I bet China's throwing fucking people at it, and they don't care what happens. They don't care if they get burnt. They don't care if they explode. They don't mind if they get shrunk down to the size of a fucking grain of sand. They will just throw more people at it until the problem gets fixed, because they've got loads of them. And if the government or the US government now sees a reason to start telling people about UFOs, that's genuinely concerning.
I would agree.
Why do you think so?
Because I feel that something is coming that they don't feel that they can contain.
They just got to relax and breathe through it. I think they'll be okay.
Maybe
Communication helps everything.
But that's the thing though with the idea that these things might be hostile, and we are constantly being told they're hostile. You know, let's be honest. That is very much the rhetoric. And the thing where people turn around and say, "Well, they could have been here for ages," you know, and they haven't done anything so far. So why would they possibly be? Why would they possibly be hurt us now? You go, well, I mean, people reckon they've been being scooped up by these things for quite a long time, and there isn't many like alien encounters you get with people where it's good.
I mean, not only that, like people like to attribute, you know, modern day aliens or, you know, fairies, and we attribute different names. All right, let's go back to the mythos. Those firstborn sons didn't serve such a good time getting snagged by the fairies, did they?
Mm.
And everyone you hear getting abduction, it's not, wow, we went on the rainbow unicorn of space and light and they showed me love. They're like, nah, they held me down to a table and stuck things in me and they didn't really care how much I screamed. It doesn't sound like, well, it couldn't be a bad time. But for them, I get that it's probably not a good time, right? Like, yeah. And if their cattle mutilations are a thing, then what's stopping them from doing that to people?
Well, I mean, that face on the guy in Peru, that looked very cattle mutilation-y.
A little bit. I've seen people like his face just fell in the water. No.
Yeah, for 6,000 years.
If somebody's arsehole's the same size as their mouth, it's not a good abduction.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Ollie, you're a scholar. You're a fucking wordsmith there, buddy.
I mean,
weaving gold. You're weaving gold.
To be perfectly honest, Ollie, any encounter that you could possibly come across, if your asshole ends up any bigger than it was in the first place, it's a bad move.
I think you got to pay extra for that in Thailand. Yeah, there's an upcharge for that.
Nobody can blame me for this video being yellow monetization now.
It's usually my fault.
I think this one's all on Ollie.
Oh yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
But I enjoyed that interview. I enjoyed it very much. I miss those Rogans actually. You know, there was a time, where he was like closer to the fringe. You know, there was less, and you can see, I think, that he's spread himself out a bit more to become a bit more neutral by just the sheer amount of comics that he has on now. It never used to be. You know, it used to be odd, like when I first started listening to him, right around the time that like Jordan Peterson was on and Milo Yiannopoulos and stuff like that. It was strange when you got a comic on, you know, and it was always like a Theo Vaughn and then somebody that was gonna explode because they were gonna be huge. So yeah, I think.
Would you say though that that's like maybe because he had a lot of comment. What the fuck is going on? Comedians on recently. He's had a lot of them, and he's
and this is over the last few
now years. Gone back to a bit of UFO stuff. Maybe he's going to go back to doing stuff that he wants to do. Maybe he's done some stuff recently that he didn't want to do, but he thought he had to do it.
I don't know. I find it odd, but I see what I'd really like to know is I'd like to know what Rogan's been told, and he said on multiple shows now to people that after they've turned around and said, "Oh, do you really believe Bob Lazar?" And he said, "No, yeah, I've been told things, but I can't tell you on air." And he again in that show, he was absolutely adamant. He is convinced Bob Lazar worked at S4. Now, I don't believe that without extra evidence he would be so convinced. That's not just anyone that thinks that he's that convinced after speaking to Jeremy Corbell for a couple of minutes is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, so like what I always thought was interesting was the law enforcement raid after they did the documentary, and of course they put it off on other things. And then I've heard people say, it was because he sold radioactive materials to someone who was questionable. Okay, it's possible. But if they've done those kind of supplies, I guarantee they've dealt with that before. And I believe he had said something that he had. The way they kind of went for his house and his business and all that jazz. And people are like, well, that was to solidify. It doesn't really work like that. The government is not as brilliant as the movies make it seem.
No,
it's really not. No end of it knows too much of what's going on at any one time. It's kind of amazing. I think most of these things get moved forward. If there's a grand master, at least in the United States government, wow. Well done. I'm impressed.
I edge more towards the chaos thing now, because Ben Jones has just put up in the comments here, which I thought, which I noticed. I'm not sorry to pick on you, Ben. You're all right. About the establishment, I take you to talk about Joe Rogan there. Now, I think you find, like, whenever if you're anywhere close to an industry, so maybe you don't know, maybe you're not involved in it, but you know somebody that's in a band, and they know somebody that's in another band, and that other person did quite well, and they went on tour with big bands. You start to realize that the big guys are just the same as what the little guys are. They've just been more successful. Like, there's no blood cult that they have to go through to do this. There's been a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice, and most of the times people get where they are through hard work. I'm not saying for that I don't believe that there isn't media influence, and government agencies have people that are stationed in places like news outlets and stuff like that. But I don't believe that they necessarily control those 100%. I just think they control elements of them.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a really good job at controlling television news, but I don't believe it's as easy to control podcasts and independent media. Like YouTube channels, the only way to do that is to ban the YouTube channels. You can't do that with podcasts. It's real hassle to do what they did to Alex Jones. That takes a concerted effort, and that was their major platforms conspiring against one individual. But when you get the likes of like Tim Pool, for instance, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro to an extent, although his organizations are like quite big now. But when you've got organizations which are only a few people, it's much more difficult to infiltrate when there's small companies. Like what Rogan, I think his entire operation is run by something like 8 people.
I believe that. Yeah. There's no room for infiltration. I think that's why so much of this is coming to light in the past 20 years. Just the uptick of independent media that using the internet and various social media and different things to leverage themselves and their influence, man, their reach. It's unbelievable. You can look out there's always someone with a phone, someone reporting something that's going on. Look at the Maui fires. There's some of the best reporting that's come out of there. Just people on the ground uploading to TikTok. Yeah. What do you guys think about some of those big bombshells they dropped? I wouldn't say bombshells that dropped. I guess that's a little too over dramatic. What do you think about some of the theories they leaned towards and they actually brought up in a public forum?
The idea of these things not being from space and that they've been here for a longer time. I thought it was really weird that first of all, the 60s Air Force brief manual.
That was crazy.
That's fucking insane. How crazy. Don't I know about that?
Nobody talks about it. All these people, you know what killed me? All the UFO, I'm a UFO researcher. I'm a researcher. Got 18, 20, 40, whatever fucking years they say. And nobody brought that shit up before.
No. In the field.
In the field. Sorry. Thank you. In the field. They're in the field, man. Maybe that's why they didn't read the damn books. They were too busy in the field. Should have gone to the library, I guess. I thought that was a great thing to bring up. I'd never heard of that. Not that I've heard everything about UFOs.
I'll be honest, that
sure.
was my most exciting bit of the show when they started to talk about these things maybe not being from fucking space.
I liked when they were talking about that humans are soul containers, and they kind of brushed over that quickly. John Lear said some stuff. We've heard some stuff from other military people. Let's move on to a different topic. Let's go back to that.
Corbell was saying that, wasn't he? He was saying like literally, he did this. He said, "This is my best John Lear impression. Rest in peace," because he's passed away.
Yeah,
and then he went into it and like, I mean, why not? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, none of those things are mutually exclusive. The fact that some people believe we're being farmed. And not only farmed, we're not being farmed for an organic matter or process that could be recreated. So if they're farming us for something unique, and it would make sense they would go with something like a soul. Something they can't artificially create. Can
we touch on something? Why is Corbell and Knapp like enemy number one? Why are they the hit piece when it comes to ufology for some of the channels right now?
Envy, jealousy, buzzwords, easy topic, way to generate. It's easy to hate, man. If you look around a lot of channels, they're
look at the comments.
Yeah. Are we at hate too?
No. We aren't. But like, this is the. I find it really interesting that now. I mean, you've said it before, Ollie. If what we're going through now happened in 2010, we would all be going fucking mental with this. Like would we go? This is disclosure. I think the vid has a lot to answer for here. There is a complete breakdown in the trust of our establishments, and just the general system.
Oh, the CVID.
Yeah. And the problem is that like there was for anyone that doesn't, I don't particularly like the podcast anymore, if I'm perfectly honest. But there's a podcast called Trigonometry. I do really like one of the hosts, Constantine Cassane, and he was saying the other day on a show that we've gone so far the other way, where the distrust has got so ravenous that it's not just enough to distrust whatever the mainstream opinion is, that we distrust the mainstream so much that we immediately trust alt media no matter what it is. And it's swung so far the other way. So now that you get the likes of George Knapp, the likes of Jeremy Corbell, are they trying to make some money? Of course they are. We all are.
Absolutely.
Are they fucking enthusiastic about what they're doing? And I genuinely think that they think they are. Well, I mean, they are journalists, but I genuinely think they're doing this, and whatever they're getting provided with, they're trying to put out for whatever reason the people are giving them information for. That's a different discussion. But I think you can take what they're doing at face value, and it's the same with like Rogan. The minute somebody's successful, we go into like a band's successful fourth album, where the people that originally bought the original albums were, they've sold out now, haven't they? Just because they're successful. And I find it fucking infuriating. I don't quite know where this goes now. The problem is we're just going to get to a point where it doesn't matter what happens, and we would literally going to have to get fist fucked by a xenomorph before we go, oh fuck, aliens might be real.
What was your earlier comment about the anus in the mouth, Ollie?
It's something to do with. No, I can't remember. But right. So let's slightly reverse there, because we've got from that podcast that if anybody watched that podcast, and I know a lot of people will watch a Joe Rogan podcast and they may not watch till the end just because it's long, not because it's like you've lost interest, but because you've got lives and you may have listened to it on the morning on the way to work. And that's exactly what I did. I listened to the first part on the morning on the way to work, and I thought I'm going to listen to the rest of it when I get home. That first part of it, I'm like, fuck me. And I messaged you boys and I said, Grush is going on Rogan. I think he's going to go on Rogan. because I can't imagine that conversation hasn't been had maybe before when they had dinner or after that show, because there's a great story there. And people might think, well, what the fuck's Grush going to say? Because he can't say anything when it comes to the disclosure, because everything that he's been asked, he's like, I can only speak about that in a skiff. But what Rogan can speak about, he can speak about his past. He can speak about his PTSD. He can even speak about his problem with alcohol. He can speak about all of that, Joe Rogan supported, which I mean, I agree with. Everybody's been through fucking shit. If one person in this world has not been through shit and then had a high-end job, then fuck me, you are amazing. Wow. Congratulations. People go through shit and they have responsibilities at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that could happen, that Joe Rogan could make a great podcast of that. Would we get anything extra? I don't think we'd get apps. I think we'd get fuck all extra. I think it would make an interesting podcast.
I think we would. I think we would get.
You think we'd get something more?
Only in the way that I think Rogan is a better interviewer than the Australian guy.
What about Congress? Congress got nothing from him.
No, but well, again, you will learn more from one person sitting down speaking to somebody face to face than you will sticking them in front of a firing line of questions.
I see what you're saying, Lee.
Because
there's things that he can't say.
No. But what he can say, that means, but what he can say can be expanded upon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just going to be a case of a one-liner, and that's the problem.
Okay, I get you. So Rogan could build a story behind it.
Yeah, the problem with the Congress thing is you had a load of people which were essentially trying to work out what they were there for, because this is new to an extent. You know, let's be perfectly honest here. Yeah, there was a couple of good people asked some good questions, but like, what the fuck has AOC thought about UFOs up until that day?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And that's not her fault. I don't mean to pick on her particularly, but you know for a fact that this has been nowhere on her agenda, like up until that day. So how can you expect those people to do a decent job at trying to like speak to somebody? Because what they actually need is they need to be then taken away into the skiff and given like a proper debriefing on it, so then they can go, right, shit, now we've got the information. At that point they were just firing blind questions. It was more like a game show at that point, you know, because it was like, what question can I ask that I can get an answer to without knowing what I'm supposed to be asking? So I do think we'd get extra stuff. I think there's even the stuff maybe that he could just explain better than he has done yet.
Do you boys think it makes a difference that he had PTSD and that he had a problem with alcohol?
Absolutely not.
No, I think if anything, the fact they went after him for it makes it more believable.
Interesting.
Well, because it's crazy, isn't it? Like the idea. All we're told right now is that like mental health issues. It's one of my biggest hates is the term nobody talks about mental health. Everyone talks about mental health. Every single person talks about mental health and how they're doing mentally healthy wise.
That's three of us have privately spoken about mental health with each other.
Privately, because we're not bitches. But
yeah, thanks for bringing that up to the public, Ollie. Appreciate that. It's not like we talked about it privately or anything.
Yeah, in a circle jerk. But the thing I find funny with the Grush thing is it's like everyone takes mental health seriously until it's this guy. You go, right, no, but he's just mental. So you can't believe him because he's just mental. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder. He was traumatized to a point he found it stressful, so you shouldn't listen to it. It's really weird.
Do you believe he? Do you believe he believe? I think we're going over. I definitely going over old ground here, but I think I've got to say it. But do you believe? Do you believe Grush is not just a? Do you think? Okay. Do you think Grush is?
Ollie.
You don't think? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
either
know.
Way, no.
Yeah, he's so robotic. It's very difficult to get a read from him.
Autism for the win on that one.
Yeah, no, Dave, I get what you're saying. Absolutely. I mean, I don't. The autism thing. I mean, we've all got a bit of autism in us. Every motherfucker's on the spectrum. Some people higher than others.
Yeah, that's bullshit. The spectrum's bullshit. Because what happens with the spectrum is we start bringing character traits into it. You know, so I mean, how autistic do we get here? Sometimes when I'm sometimes when I'm doing something, I'll count how many times I'm doing it. So do I land on a spectrum there? I think I think there's a good argument. There's a good argument to be made that the spectrum is there to shift most pharmaceutical products.
Would you say that somebody on the spectrum, there's a good argument there to say somebody on the spectrum would be fucking really good at doing that type of job?
No.
Okay, elaborate on that, because I think there would be.
No, because I mean, I know real fucking low functioning autistic people. Two of my friends' sons are low functioning autistic, are lower functioning or autistic people, and they can't even tie their own fucking shoelaces, Ollie.
Okay, no, but
what I mean is the idea of the spectrum is fucking wank, because the spectrum is I can do.
I understand what you're saying.
And then up here it's like now and again I misbehave.
So you think it's one thing and then it's another thing completely. You don't think?
Yeah, I think like I said, I think the spectrum's there to sell pharmaceutical products. I don't think that Grush is doing what he's doing any better than any other professional would do, with any sprinkling of magic autism dust. I don't think it's got anything to do with autism. I think Dave was just making a joke there.
It was sarcasm.
I think it's just he's one of two things. He's either just a straight, dry person that delivers something that's telling the truth, or he's a fucking trained spook that's lying to us.
Most people in the intelligence field are extremely dry and humorless.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've no idea. See, I edge towards he's telling the truth, because if he's not telling the truth, he's telling the truth as far as he's on a mission, because I don't believe that he could sit there and make a story up and answer all these questions that he doesn't know he's going to get. Do you know what I mean? That the only way you can sit and answer questions about something if you don't know what the questions are going to be is through lived experience. Because if you're trying to work a lie out, there's going to be gaping holes in that lie. Do you know what I mean? Because you're essentially rehearsing for a role. So at some point, somebody's going to ask you a question that falls in one of the gaping holes that you haven't prepared for. So I believe he is either a full-on 100% fucking misinformation artist, and this is he is fucking Dodie on steroids, or he's telling the truth as he has been explained it.
Well, let's face it. He has been explaining it because he's not seen anything.
No, he said in that the other interview that
He's
he
not
has
seen anything. He's
he
not
said it,
seen.
he has said in the interview that he has first-hand experience of this. He didn't go into it, but he did say he had first-hand experience.
As far as I know, he's not seen anything.
I think that was in the last interview he did. He said that.
Okay, so has it changed since then? Because, I mean, that's a big deal if it has.
I'm almost convinced. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty convinced he
Let
said
us know in the comments below.
he's had first-hand experience now. But it was a case that he
I
couldn't.
think it could be that he's had first-hand experience of the
Second-hand accounts.
I think maybe what he might have meant by that, and I could be wrong with this, like first-hand experience of the fucking bullshit that has come his way in terms of people destroying his fucking life. That might be what he means. I don't know.
No, yeah, no, he is the I know has got my back here. He's seen images or footage or something. That's what I remember.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. It's not just he's not speaking just from Dave told me this, so I'm gonna tell you guys.
I mean, this question it spouted from, do you think Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, do you think it's right that they get like given that fucking flick when it comes to you guys are fucking talking shit, even though I mean fucking there's something that it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when you, not so much with Corbell, because I generally think Corbell can fucking take it on the chin because he's probably used to this shit. But Jeremy's
So what you're saying is Corbell takes it on the chin, but you're left with a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. No, but I don't see a grifter when it comes to George Knapp.
No,
I honestly don't.
I don't see a grifter. I don't see a grifter in Jeremy Corbell. I see somebody that's like, I mean, as much as it fucking hate as like other people on YouTube talk about this stuff, hate to say,
hate it. I don't care that. It doesn't matter.
He's made the best UFO documentaries that there is.
Absolutely.
The Skinwalker documentary was good. Like I can't think of any other apart from the who's did Michael Bay? Was it Michael Bay that did the UFO thing on Netflix, or was it somebody else, another director like that?
Mm-hmm. I didn't
There
know
was
there
a
was one
big director did a series of like four-part special on UFOs about 2 years ago. Not Michael Bay. Who did Interstellar?
M. Night Shyamalan.
No, it wasn't. It was fucking. Interstellar's my fucking favorite film. I should know that. Is it Nolan?
Interstellar, it was Christopher Nolan. Yeah, good point.
Interstellar. I fucking love that film. That is my favorite film of all time.
Yeah, you could just watch
a good movie, whatever.
You could just watch like what you call it. Fuck me.
No,
Back me up in the chat, people. Back me up in the chat.
Space Odyssey. You could just watch a Space Odyssey, which is all it rips off.
I love Space Odyssey as well.
Big Trouble, Little China for the win. All right,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Classic.
It's all in the fucking reflexes.
It's all in the He does nothing in the whole movie except kill the bad guy by accident.
And that balloon fucking foot.
Bad Boys. Oh fuck, I've derailed now. Yeah, so he did the 4-part
UFO series, Netflix. Nolan.
This is how we're gonna get super chat turns out.
That's it. We'll say every motherfucker's name. Just say anything.
Alina. I don't know.
Alethea.
Alethea, is that how you say it? Fuck. I don't know.
Alethea.
Yeah.
Alethea.
Alethea.
Not very
Sounds
good at.
sexual.
I'm not very good at the old reading of names sometimes, which is why on an upcoming show there will be an Audible special. The what was I saying?
That was awesome.
It
You guys could
That was awesome.
any
Thank
super
you so
chat.
much.
We'll make Lee and Ollie say anything you want, and I like it. Anything.
Say stuff that'll make Ollie get fired.
Oh yeah, that's a fun game.
Will make me get set on fire.
No, get
Sure.
fired.
I'll get fired. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can get if it makes enough money, I get fired.
He
I'm
particularly likes talking about minorities.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, so documentaries. Nolan did the 5-part special, whatever it was, on UFOs about 2 years ago. It was really good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, there was nothing like fucking juicy in it, but it was for what it was. Fucking made me forget about my fucking dreadful life for 10 hours. But so apart from that, which like Christopher fucking Nolan made, name me somebody else that could have made a Netflix quality documentary about Bob Lazar. And everyone fucking pisses and whinges about the phone thing, of him sitting on the phone and how he's in the thing and stuff. It's because he had to make a fucking narrative.
Yeah,
he
a
had
bit
to
of theatre at
he
the
had to
beginning,
tell. But he had to tell a story for it to keep it in, because like the dry fucking YouTube videos are with fucking still images and some guy going, and then the man went to S4 and he had to wear a blindfold. It's not cutting it. Not if you want fucking millions of people to watch.
The thing is, it doesn't actually require explaining. The people who bitch about it, they know.
What?
They're just bitching. Like people are like, oh, it's a terrible documentary. It's a terrible documentary film. He's really not.
Yeah, show me your documentary.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good fucking job. Yeah, he's way better than I could do. So,
that I think when they say it's a shit documentary, is they mean because it's for Lazar. That's the only thing.
I think it is as well. I'm taking it now that if for every person that slags off his documentaries, it's a thumbs up for Cousin Brothers. So just pick your team. Pick your team wisely.
You can't if you when people say that. I've even heard people say that it was even done badly, and I'm like,
yeah, that's a very common critique. People, it's just terribly done. Really?
No, it fucking wasn't.
Go to Amazon and look at some of the fucking independent documentaries that get put in there. Like, they're rough, man. There's some rough ones.
There's something that people. Why can't people admit to at least that the documentary was well done?
It comes from the same thing. You have a group of people that are like, we need disclosure from the government, and at the exact same time, the same people say, can't trust anything that comes from the government. And then you're like, well, I got this piece of information that does not come from the government. If it didn't come from the government, we don't know it's true. Okay, this piece of information, well, the government fucking lies. So you just want to sit in a pissed off world. All right, let's be upfront about that first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let's be upfront about that first, and then we'll work through things. It's what is it? The Asian gentleman who used to work for the CIA, who's been talking about like UFOs, and that he went to some kind of debrief, right? I find that guy wildly interesting. I would love to have him on the show if I could figure out how to make that happen. And I see he can get a lot of hate from people. He wasn't in the agency. He's got his agency plaque. He's got all his agency shit. He was definitely in the agency. And he corrects people. He's like, we're not agents, we're officers. Which seems like a little thing, but it is a big thing. And the shit he says is wild. He's like, listen, I went to Function. It was like a educational class thing held at some hotel outside of DC, and they debriefed him on all this different kinds of stuff. I wish I could think of that guy's name.
I know you mean. I know.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's all out there shit, and it's interesting to see what people come. He's obviously a CIA disinformation agent that's playing.
He's a real Fox Mulder or something like that.
I mean, he wasn't with the FBI. He was with the CIA. He did things involving like satellites and command and stuff. And he's very clever in how he talks about things because he looks at things that have all been declassified or in the public domain, and then he'll address it. But he's a credentialed. He's a real person. Grush is a credentialed real person. David Fravor is a credentialed real person. People are like, well, he just doesn't want to admit to seeing our technology that he knows what it is. Then he just wouldn't fucking say anything. There would be no point to bring him into this. He's literally said under oath to Congress, which you don't get a pass for, that he didn't know what it was. It did things that he knows we can't do. And it's not enough.
Would you boys agree that if these boys are lying to us, all of them, it's bigger than just money?
Oh yeah, this has nothing to do with money.
You should be fucking very afraid because it is bigger than money.
I don't know about very afraid. I think that's pretty far. It strikes me as interesting the things that get traction and don't. Like the old saying, you chew the meat and spit out the bone, right? These guys may be telling absolutely everything they know to the best of their ability. Doesn't mean it's an entirely true statement, right? Just like Bob Lazar said, he's like, I don't want to talk about things that were in the reports, things that they debriefed me on, because it could all be nonsense. What I can tell you is what I touched and what I saw. Fair enough, right? It strikes me as odd that the community of conspiracy, at least in the UFO realm, desperately wants the government to full out admit what they personally think is going on. And that's what really pisses them off. Instead of just sitting back saying, we have no idea what's going on. They may have maybe they have a better idea, a little bit better idea. Like maybe there's a car wreck down the street and we're on the second story and we can see some lights. And they're on the fifth story. They can see the smoke and how many emergency vehicles. Neither one of us know what happened at that wreck. They just know a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. I genuinely think that's the difference. Because if you look for evidence, like people want to talk about evidence. All right, let's look for medical verified evidence. One of the most interesting cases out there is Stan Romanek, right? Yeah, he's a convicted pedophile or whatever. Okay. Not talking about that. We're talking about his torn was ACL in his knee that he had, right? Torn ACL, MRIs. ACL is torn. It's going to have to be redone. He schedules the surgery. He has what he claims is an abduction, right? And he didn't claim it was an abduction, excuse me. He claimed that they saw a bright light and it woke them up. And then he was outside, right? Wandering around, or maybe his leg was, it's vague. It's been a while since I've heard it. Thing is, he had something happen, goes back to the doctor because he's walking around unaided, no brace, tells him, hey, I want to cancel my surgery. I don't need it. And they're telling him, listen, you don't get the surgery, you're going to be crippled. You have to do this. Goes back to the doctor, gets another scan. It is repaired. And he has the recording of the doctor like, oh, wow, what happened? He's like, well, I saw a flash of light and then I woke up. And he's like, well, that's okay. Like, the doctor deals in facts, right? Your ACL is torn one day and the next day it is not.
So what you're saying is pedophiles can have experiences too with aliens.
What's interesting, like, so that's a fun topic. It's I don't want to say because so many people claim to be experiencers, but they picked one guy to help. That was the guy they picked. People are like, the Nazis and the UFO were in league together. That's the ideology they back, huh? They're enlightened beings from another planet. Are they?
And they help the Nazis.
Are they?
I mean, back to the soul container idea.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Well, I mean, you're bordering on the idea of like loose vampires as well, there, aren't you? The idea that somehow we could be being farmed for emotion. I mean, you can look around you right now and be forgiven for thinking that's a possibility.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But It's like I say. I mean, the only thing is, for good or bad, I do think we're going to get some sort of conclusion with this. Whether we will be satisfied by said conclusion. Is there another?
You think we're going to get a conclusion with Grush?
I think we're going to get a conclusion with the whole thing. I think we're going to see spaceships. I think we're going to see bodies.
You think?
Mhm.
Why? What's your backing for that? Why do you think?
Because I think that's the momentum that this has got behind it. I think, like I keep saying, for some reason, that people more powerful than us want my mother to believe that there's aliens. Want people that don't normally get involved in this stuff. Want to turn conspiracy into news. I mean, to a certain extent, it feels like reality is breaking down. Do you know what I mean? Like from what we used to have, it feels like reality itself is fucking collapsing in on itself. And I maybe I've had this theory for years. And to say a theory, idea, I don't know. I don't know how much thinking or work I have to do into something to qualify it being a genuine theory. I think human beings, regardless of what we are and how we're here and who made us or what made us, I believe our thought physically impacts the world. Like I've had this thought for even before I start getting into this sort of stuff. I always used to find it weird that sport, for instance, most of the time will come in some sort of exciting climax. If you're watching football, you can kind of feel when a player is building to nothing and when something's going to happen. I've often wondered whether those moments in sport are just whoever's supporters are just more locked in and more psychically engaged in what they're doing than the other team's supporters. You know, maybe it's the supporters that win the game and not the players. So that's fine. And I think even in a sporting sense, you're doing things in a natural way, in the same as like when there's only a certain amount of people that should be around. Like we should be around. I think it's like 100 people, isn't it? It's where you got centurions from, because a centurion was in charge of like 100 soldiers, and they worked out that one person could have like an intimate relationship with 100 people, and that was about it. That's where we tapped out. Social media comes along now. I mean, right now we will. We are fucking small fry, but we might hit maybe 1,200 people with this episode on this. Maybe we'll hit a few hundred more by the time we stick it on Rockfin and put it out as a podcast and stuff like that. There's like nearly 100 people watching now. Yeah. Put this
hit that like button,
but like lift behind the curtain. Curtain wise, we hit 158,000 impressions this month. So that means like 158,000 people stumbled across an Alien Addict thing through YouTube, which is pretty cool. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
We're not fucking retiring from it, but it's pretty cool. It's big numbers. For little people like us. That's wild that a fucking ginger man sat in a tanning salon, a fucking painter and decorator on a small island, and an ex-CIA agent. That's fucking wild that we can just plug into a computer and hit those people.
It's officer.
What did you just call me? A ginger man sat in a tanning salon?
Yes.
It's what it looks like. If you had one of those little reflective things for your face, it'd be fucking perfect.
I thought I got the lighting right tonight. I've turned the motherfuckers off. I'll turn them back on.
Oh no! Don't fuck.
Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse.
Stop. It's fine, Ollie. We can see your wines. Oh my Jesus!
Oh, you took his shirt off for a second. Whoa,
that's much better. That is
That better?
much better. Yeah, it's much
Yeah.
better. You look like a human.
There's that sick white
Oh
alabaster
no,
skin.
it's
we've
gone
come to
again.
miss.
What is with the fucking color correction on your camera?
Hey,
Anyway,
I get a new camera.
it's the white balance. No,
Super
no,
chats.
you just need to use the tools. You need to use the tools and turn the auto white balance off. Trick. So, but my theory was that as soon as social media started hitting, like Facebook and Twitter really got rolling, I think that's when the world started to change. And I kind of wonder whether if you can, we talk about things going viral, but what if ideas can go viral, and then if they go viral enough, they get implanted into the subconscious, and then the subconscious turns those things into a tulpa, and the next thing is, this is real.
I've wondered that.
This show was originally going to be the woman on the plane.
Hmm?
Do you remember the conversation? Like we were going to talk about the woman on the plane,
Mm-hmm.
and that seems like exactly what you're saying. Exactly what you're saying. Like the conversations that people are having, the things that people are supposed to believe. When you look at that woman on the plane and you look at the situation, people are fucking speculating left, right, and center when it comes to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that thing right now, she is leaving it open to fucking debate. She has not come forward and said, "Look, I was out of my mind. The guy is not an alien." She's still not said that because there's a clip of her on fucking, is it TikTok, YouTube, or whatever? And
Yeah.
she's saying, "I cannot speak about it."
Mhm.
She hasn't said that I was deluded or I didn't actually mean that he wasn't an alien. What I meant was that motherfucker nicked my headphones, and I'm saying that he cannot be a human that would do that because I needed them motherfuckers, you know? She never speculated that. She never
mentioned headphones.
Just never mentioned headphones.
She never mentioned headphones. Have you got that clip somewhere?
I haven't. No, I wasn't ready.
I'll find it. I'll find it. You,
But
you guys fucking chat.
The headphones thing, that was some fucking like liberal crazy Karen lady that that said she was on the plane. There was no evidence she was on the plane. She took it in front of a house which looked like it should have been on fucking Hoarders or something like that.
Carrot Top had also said that from the airport though, because he was on the plane. And,
Which one?
I think he said it in joke. Someone lost their Carrot Top.
Who's that?
Because when they made everybody get off the plane, disembark, he was in first class.
Who's Carrot Top?
Comedian, Las Vegas, bright red hair, does props.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, does a lot of steroids.
But yeah, I don't know. That was probably nothing, to be perfectly honest. Probably nothing. I do find it weird that when she went back, she was wearing exactly the same clothes the other day when she went back to the airport.
You say it's probably nothing, but there's people like getting like 1 million views on that video, the latest one.
People are interested with it. You know what it is she should have known all reptilians are kleptomaniacs.
Yeah,
they steal shit left and right. And if it's shiny, it's
you,
theirs.
You put it down, it's gone.
It's gone.
They're not actually reptilians; they're half crow.
It's clever disguise.
But yeah, no, I've often thought that maybe like the natural order of things was as living in smaller communities, and we kind of built reality around that, and then that's the invention of the internet, and then immediate contact with like millions of people has slowly rewired what we look at as humanity.
Do you want me to hit it, Lee? Shall I let the people see her latest?
Listen, I mean, I gotta ask you, how does it feel to be traveling again?
Great.
In the airport again after what you went through.
A little bit of anxiety, but it's been good. Yeah.
Are you doing anything differently, like when you're getting ready to travel, or when you're Was there any new techniques?
Just pause it for a second, Ollie.
No.
And a lot of people.
Right. Odd things about this is she's coming across
that's
as really
great.
awkward. She's coming across really awkward, like she doesn't want to speak. But let's be perfectly honest. TMZ didn't fucking accidentally turn up to the airport and accidentally find her. So this is 100% orchestrated. So it's
Yes.
weird that she's acting odd when she's talking. When she's acting like she doesn't want to speak to the people, but it's clearly being organized to happen. Also, she's wearing the same fucking clothes, is she not?
Yeah,
We're close to it.
very very similar.
Yeah. That just might be the
It's
kind of
really
top
weird.
she likes.
But that's
hot in Texas.
So weird. To be
What,
wearing
her reptilian shift there, they took her over. You can see that.
But
Obviously,
do you
the
know
neck
what it
scales.
reminds me of? And obviously, I can't go too far. I can't go too much into this because YouTube will get angry. I get really, really concerned by people that wear uniforms that aren't uniforms. Zelensky wears a uniform but hasn't got a uniform.
Yes, he does, and I'm not wearing it tonight.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? I think it's like people. Generally, people don't notice these things unless you're a fucking crazy conspiracy nut. And you go, hang on a fucking second. Like, why is everybody else in a suit and you're wearing a khaki fucking pants again? And she's this is clearly her
brand,
the persona. Yeah, uniform.
Well, she's a marketing chick. She gets brand. You know, and it's kind of clever. Like if it's for her trying to dispel it, it's clever. Because this image will come up as much as the other one. The outfits and everything looks similar. People who like people who aren't conspiracy people really just gloss over information. You know what concerns me is when I have like last night I was at a function with a bunch of my normie friends, and hearing the topics of their conversation bothers me because now they're talking about conspiracy things, and you can see the worry on them. You know.
See the thing is So let's take this at face value. So because Rex Ryan said it's not weird. She's traveling. She probably only has the clothes she needed. Yeah, of course. Which just happens to be exactly the same clothes as the last time.
Could be the kind of top she likes.
Texas
is hot. It's really hot.
My caveat to that would be, so I mean, first of all, obviously this is orchestrated, so TMZ are going to turn up. But if you've done something that you're embarrassed about, and you don't want to be seen again, you would dress differently. You would wear your hair differently.
Oh no, this is definitely a fix up. Like
right,
she got in touch with TMZ to tell her where she would be. And the other thing that what blows my mind is they've already let her back on a plane.
Can I just say, Reckless Ryan, I do not get you because like she wore that fucking exact fucking clothing. If there's any clothing that you do not want to be seen with, that you were recognized for because of that shit, it's the exact fucking clothing. If you fucking robbed the fucking store in a pair of fucking luminous fucking shorts and you got fucking captured on camera, don't fucking wear them shorts again.
But this is the thing, like people turn around and say like she's marketing, she's doing this. Then we need to know what she's marketing because she's not making any money from this right now. The only people that are making money from this is big TikTokers that are getting millions of views on TikToks.
I don't think you'll
are curious what exactly you saw, because you alluded to what you saw, but like we just want to know, like what did you see?
I mean, thanks for asking that, but I have been told I cannot comment on it right now.
I see. I'm sorry. Are you going
just
to
pause that again, Ollie, quickly?
Have a full kind of interview somewhere?
Now, I think the interesting thing here is that she first of all she said she's not allowed to.
It's a very legal answer.
Yeah, not I've been advised not to. She said I'm not allowed to.
Well, maybe they, hey, you saw a reptilian. We're gonna give you a bunch of money. Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Mrs. Squatch just said she's looking for attention now.
Very possible.
But how? Like she's not going to become famous from this. She will become gossip for a little bit and then disappear.
So to some people, that is fame.
Maybe I
It's
just
enough to
don't
make-
see. I don't see someone else turned around and said it's like it's because of she. It will be her and her business, but I mean, by all accounts, she's a multimillionaire in her own rights.
Mm-hmm. So the thing, like I, this is where I've always found the problem comes in trying to understand people in situations like this that are so bizarre. There's a guy, and this is just an example. There's a guy, I don't want to, if you follow like Major League Baseball, you'll know who he is. He goes to all the different stadiums and he's banned from a lot of them for life because he's hyper aggressive about catching home runs and foul balls.
Yeah.
Hyper aggressive. He has over 12,000. And if you're a little kid trying to catch a ball that's coming towards you, he will knock you the fuck out, throw you over the end, and take the damn ball. Like he has no problem, right? Like it's this weird obsessive thing. When people like sit, like if you happen to be at a game in this area and you're here on the foul side, because I'm gonna catch a foul ball, and this guy's there, everyone's like, oh my God, people will just leave the game because he's a freak. And that's just my point is you just never really know what drives people. Because in all accounts, every other part of the guy's life's normal. This chick, did she have a freak out in a mental breakdown on a plane? Maybe. Did she see some shit that unnerved her? Maybe. Is this organized with TMC? 100 fucking percent.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. Which makes everything stranger.
Yeah.
Because you're right. She's not making immediate cash off this.
Mr. Reckless Ryan says she is famous now, Lee. Where you talk about millions of views over hundreds of platforms. She's not famous. She's infamous.
Yeah, she's not getting paid for those views.
Yeah, she is getting absolutely. The only thing this has brought her is the fact that she probably might get people like shouting some abuse at her in the street.
She starts an OnlyFans. She's going to do well.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, if you're already a millionaire, are you really starting an OnlyFans?
Well, see, that's the thing. Millionaires still go to work just because you're a millionaire. Like it's not.
That's millionaires still go to work, but I also don't think you'd be going down the road of doing OnlyFans and stuff like that. And to be perfectly honest, as much as I think she's hot, she's not like OnlyFans hot. It's in like the big creators. She's not like top 10% hot.
Who's that chick from Dr. Phil, the Catch Me Outside girl? Anyway, she made I think like $57 million last year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, that chick?
Yeah,
that chick. All right, well, yeah, different flavors, I guess. But I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? It is a bizarre situation. It's a bizarre. I wonder if she has an inner monologue.
I don't. I'm going to sound weird here, but
can I? Sorry, just quickly. Can I tell you a story about inner monologues?
Yes.
So just to make sure, I was sat the other night with my son, and we were playing the video game, and I was trying to work out how to say it. I was like, so when you're thinking, he's like, yeah. Like, do you hear voices? Like, do you hear a voice when you're thinking? Do you get something? And he's like, yeah. And I thought, okay, that's good. I'm glad about that. And then he said, sometimes the voices tell me to do bad things. Like, no, it's fine. You've got a voice. We don't need to address this yet.
We'll deal with the rest later.
And this is
the important ones covered.
That's a valid point, Lee, because that voice does tell I don't care who you are.
Uh-oh.
That voice tells every one of you motherfuckers in the chat to do bad things.
I'm gonna have to go with a negative there, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, me too. Like like my friend's gran has to move house the other day, and my inner voice said, "Why don't you ring her up and say, like, when your gran moves, I'll come and give you a hand." That's what my inner voice said, Ollie.
My inner voice said, "Why you go fuck her?" So that's
still helping out the elderly.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
My point there is the inner voice.
You like dry vagina? Yeah.
No, I don't. That was a joke. But the inner voice has fucking demons. everybody has one of those fucking inner voices. I'm sure they do. Maybe it's just me.
My inner voice is the good guy. I'm the dark one. I'll be like, I'm gonna do this, and the inner voice, don't do that. No. Remember what happened last time?
But am I being stupid here? And I'm
Yes.
probably out. I probably.
Like, what's going on? What's the deal? What's the plan on?
Okay, look at here.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, yeah. Just remember that face.
Like
me-
that exact one.
Remember that exact face, yeah. I'm going crazy here because I honestly don't think that she looks anything like her.
It's exactly the same outfit.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Different.
the
It could be a different color top.
It's
She obviously,
exactly
dude.
the
Those
same.
those tops
Exactly
look
the
good
same.
on her, right? She knows what fits her. She knows what she's about.
I think that's fucking wild. Mind you, to be perfectly honest, I will always wear black t-shirt and black jeans. But that
I think she looks younger. I don't think she looks like. I mean, I know it was a few weeks.
she does
ago,
look
but
younger.
Well, here, yeah, because she's been through some stress, man.
I don't think she looks like the girl. Like, I don't think that girl there. And I never thought I'd hear myself saying this, but I've just got to say it as I see it.
You think it's a man, don't you?
I don't think it's a man. No,
Swing and a miss.
that would be worrying.
Less interesting.
I don't think she looks like her. I really
Not
don't.
there.
I don't think she looks like it in any of it, Lee. I really don't. But
Yes, there will be. There's some things in the works, mostly nonprofit charity stuff. But I've been trying to like lay low for the most part. But reporters
I've been trying to lay low, so I rang TMZ up to say I was going to the airport.
strong-armed into speaking, and here we are.
Well, I do want to know. Like, I mean, you won't say to me what you saw right now.
Yeah.
You can't. All right.
she looks taller. She looks older.
Well, tall. That's just camera angle. Older. She's been through stress. What I think is interesting is she says right now she won't talk about what she saw, and she kind of laughs and grins like something's up.
Does she look like her? Does she actually look
I think
like
it's the
that
same
girl?
person.
I gotta be honest. I didn't really focus on her face that much. We have to drop the camera angle a little.
Okay. I don't think it looks like her.
I think
it more than likely it is her, but I just don't think it looks like her. So I think that's why some of the conspiracy theorists are going crazy because
they're already crazy. We are crazy.
But I actually agree with them. When I can see, I've seen the conspiracies that it is not her, and I will agree. If anybody puts that face next to the face, the original face, it doesn't look like her.
I mean, to go back to the thing, I know we talked about this on a previous show, but when they when not this lady here, but when the apology video came out, somebody took photographs from the original plane video and the apology video, and they came out as different people on the
no, but Lee, now more than ever,
facial recognition software. It was something like the facial recognition software gave it like 9.5% out of 100 that it was real, that it was the same person, which is fucking wild.
9 point what it was the same person.
That it was there was a 9.5% chance that they were the same people out of 100.
Unacceptable views. Plot twist: these two chicks get together and make a girl and girl only fans. Now that will get my subscription.
Absolutely. I don't think she looks anything like her. I'm sorry, but I really don't. I don't know what this is. I don't know. It's probably me being absolutely fucking ridiculous, and I will admit to that. But I'm only going with my eyes. And if any of you in the chat say that she looks exactly like this girl here, then you're fucking blind. I'm sorry.
Good point from Rudolph here. So TMZ totally paid her extra to wear the same clothes, which is
Yeah,
very
that-
possible.
that-
That's a much more realistic thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with that.
like it.
And
that's even more weird that so look here.
See, that doesn't look like the same person.
I know this girl here looks like she has the same sort of height as my missus, and the way this
Dave's right again. That's like
camera
camera
angle.
angles. You like she could be a
she's
midget.
taller.
You cannot tell that. You cannot tell that.
I kind of.
You can't. You can see her. You can't even see her fucking shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the. What I would say about this here is her hair looks completely different. So unless she's had hair extensions before she's in that video, I don't think if you
First
go
and
back.
foremost, I want to.
Not that far.
You know, hair extensions is good tradecraft. That is a good way to go undetected, is to lengthen your hair. Everyone shortens it, but really going to long hair like a wig. That's why they're very effective.
Yeah, there. See, like I do right that. Chill out, Ollie.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Just get a picture of her side on.
She's carrying a gun.
There, that'll do.
Where those clothes are tight.
Right. The bun she has there does not house as much hair as in the apology video. It's just simply not there. It's simply not there. So she might have had hair extensions. Hair doesn't grow that quick because it was only like a week differently. So there is a 100% difference there. Again, hair extensions are a thing. Could be. But the funny thing is, and I suppose that goes to maybe she had them taken out, but why would you do that? Because I don't think in the video in the airport, her hair looks that long either. Because that's really long hair. You know, that's sort of middle of the back territory, that.
Probably got extensions put in. Which is, again,
okay, I mean,
it's good
but
it
makes total sense to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just pulling up an inconsistency. Yeah. It does make sense that she might have done it because she was going to do a video, so she was obviously going to make herself look as pretty as she possibly could.
And there was a
huge
chunk of time before she did that video. You know
2 weeks.
I mean? Like so she probably did the video because people didn't let it go.
Hmm.
You know, that's just playing that. Or she did see a fucking reptilian. She did freak out and have to get off the damn plane. Didn't know how to handle it.
So Dave, so if there is a conspiracy there and we are right, and that is not the bird, right?
It's a human being, Ollie.
Why?
What? She's obviously not a bird. She doesn't have feathers or wings or anything.
Oh, okay, lady.
What about it?
The lady? What's the purpose in it? If the conspiracy theorists are right to say there's something in this lady on the plane, and then all of a sudden there is an actor replaying her wearing this and also wearing the same shit as her, what would be the reason why? Because that sounds fucking crazy shit to me.
Do you know what I don't get? I don't get how you go from the original video to this woman saw a reptilian.
What else would you have seen?
So
she saw John Podesta. She's like, "Get the fuck off this plane."
I don't really. I mean, I know things can go viral. I know people have viral hits.
I like that. I like that plot twist.
I'm with Tim.
Yeah, she's the alien.
She is the alien. Absolutely.
Trying to discredit anyone that's going to freak out and claim to see him on planes. I like it. Seeding it.
Yeah. So, fuck. I'm derailed. I can't remember what I was going to say.
What do you think she saw?
It's my fault.
Oh yeah. So, I just don't get how you go from that and how it goes so viral. It's just a woman losing the plot on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do we go from that to it becoming a conspiracy theory where she saw reptilians or a fucking grey alien?
because a dude on TikTok made a video about her seeing it who was not on the plane. It was just bullshit. He just made a fake video and it spun out, and that's what seeded it.
Mm-hmm.
So really, you're right. She just lost her marbles for a minute.
No, but I'm more interested in because I put this in the same box as like the Las Vegas UFO and the Peru thing. I
love the Peru thing. But
there seems to be nuggets that point towards an extraterrestrial answer with no evidence behind them. And it's the thing is, we've always had this. We've always had like stories that don't come from anywhere. Like, right? Take the what you call it? The 4chan thing. You know, when the 4chan reptilian disappeared. Yeah,
I remember that. Me and you
right
at that point. I think.
Yeah. So if that happened now, that would be on the news.
Yeah, I think so. I think Red bring up, so Orphan Red's in the chat. I just happened to look, so I wanted to check. There's 89 people. Come on, guys. Go over there and hit the like button. It really helps. So why did she say everyone on the plane would die, though? I mean, I got to be honest. I don't know her reasoning for any of her actions. I genuinely don't. It's all speculation. Like, she saw something. Maybe she had what was that movie where the dude saw the death, freaked out, got off the plane, and the plane blew up?
Oh, Final
Destination. Maybe she had a Final Destination moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. She pointed out that motherfucker is not real. So clearly, it is someone. And then she thought everyone was going to die. Because even when she's off the plane, she was arguing that the plane was going to crash. But again, people have mental breaks. I mean, I've seen people do some weird shit.
So why blame it on the AirPods? Because all the debunkers, everybody's saying the AirPods, but we're not seeing anybody saying, even the guy that
the plane blowing up,
the guy that was being questioned by the air traffic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AirPods were never mentioned.
Yeah, and also in the AirPod thing was it was that the woman that came out saying that she was accusing someone of the AirPods being stolen. She said, and of course this guy was African American. That guy was not. He wasn't American, let alone African American. So there's so many different things, but nobody talks about the fact that she said she was saying, and like even to the policeman afterwards, like, you need to look. I need to stay. I need to see what happens to that plane. Then you had the Chinese guy that freaked out on the plane. Then you had the English guy that freaked out on the plane. This is the interesting thing to me, is that you've had like 4 or 5 people. She's the one that's got the headlines, but this is not like an isolated incident.
I don't see how anybody's not looking at this and going, there's something odd here, that she's all of a sudden going back on plane. She's all smiley faces, when there was a video of her pointing at a plane going, that's going to blow up. Get them motherfuckers off.
Right. A little Lee story here.
This is the train.
Yeah, where this would have been in the mid 2000s.
Davey told me this while we was on a fucking bus to London.
Yeah.
It's good to know, man. It's good information.
My band.
On the train home.
This was a few years ago. My band had been playing in London. We were traveling back down to Liverpool on a rush hour train to get the boat back to the Isle of Man. And full train, we were all stood up. Then two people left on the first stop. Me and my friend Danny went and sat down at the train, thinking, great, we've got seats. So we were like one stop out of London, and there was a bag underneath our feet. Just try and cut a long story short. And I remember, like, this was at the prime time, when they started removing bins from public spaces and stuff like that, because it was like maybe 2 years.
You said to me it was not long after I think you said it was about 5. I think it's 3 or 5 years after the.
Yeah, something like that. 2-3 years it was after the London bombings. And so I joked with Danny, I don't fucking like luggage being left around these days. And I can still remember, like yesterday, as like we slid this bag out from underneath and pulled there was bits of paper stuff down the side. And I remember going to open them and saying to Danny, I hope this is something really boring, like somebody's fucking end of year accounts. We opened up, and it was just this big long speech about martyrdom, which he clearly didn't believe in because he fucked off. And how it's how like the death of a few can like go towards the greater cause, all that sort of stuff. Then as we kept through, there was just fucking page after page of how to make bombs, what you need to make a bomb, how to make mercury triggered devices. And we took those papers to the driver. He shouted at us. He said, well, why didn't you bring me this when we were stationary? And I said, because we weren't fucking stationary. And he then told us to go and sit back down and not cause panic. I politely said, you can get to fuck if you think I'm sitting down there. So 2 very brave British rail people went and took those seats. I gathered my friends up and we went to the back of the train in like the metal compartment, because the first thought I had was, if the train derails, then you're going to die in a train crash by being scraped along the outside when the windows break. So because it's just like little small portholes, you've got a case of being thrown around a bit, but there's a higher chance of survival. So bearing in mind, for anyone in the UK, we were 1 stop outside of London when I found these, and we went all the way from that stop, not letting any motherfucker off, all the way to Warrington, where the train was evacuated. I mean, that's 1 stop away from fucking Liverpool. So we've just basically fucking gone across the fucking country, or very close to Liverpool. I don't know. It's close. I know it was close enough to get an £80 taxi anyway. Turfed everybody out. They didn't even question us, which I thought was a fucking misstep. And the train never went, and nothing was said about it in the news. And even at that time, there was stuff in the news about unexploded devices and people like bomb scares that weren't real bomb scares all the time, and this just wasn't there. The point of me telling this story is that freaked me out so fucking much. I still think about it when I go on trains. I'm still uncomfortable on trains, and I like the next train I went on.
You were
not
uncomfortable
happy.
on that train home.
Yes, yeah, I do genuinely. I don't like being on trains anymore. I used to, but yeah, I don't particularly like being on trains.
Yes, putting the bomb on the train is so
cliche, isn't it?
Yeah. No, what you do is you put an EFP on the side of the railroad tracks and hit it as the locomotive goes, so it drags everyone.
Yeah. So
think this through, right? Remote detonation, guys.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I think if you'd already been through a traumatic event where you thought the fucking plane was going to crash, I don't think you breeze back onto the next one.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yeah, I mean, she could have been having a moment. At one time, I did hold the opinion that she had too much alcohol and maybe prescription pills to relax her. But then I saw her doing the interview with the cops outside. And I was like, oh, she's kind of holding it together for someone who's apparently having a psychotic break. Like, she's holding her own. She's verbally sparring with them, keeping them back. And they could have arrested her for intoxication if they had enough of a belief for it there. And they didn't. They just let her go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So but I don't know. I still, it's an odd story, isn't it? It's just an odd situation. But I think it's more so it's odd that it's even in the news. That's the real thing, is the fact that this became a global news story where it wouldn't have done in the past.
Maybe one of the reptilians tried to harvest her soul out of the container.
Maybe. She's got a very strange way of holding her hands.
You haven't seen enough bitchy U.S. women. That's
maybe
pretty fucking normal.
Okay.
Yeah, we talk with our hands a lot.
Hmm.
Anyway. Yeah, man, it's interesting. So how does that relate to the Joe Rogan? And
no idea.
I literally, I just wanted to break, because I think originally, like we spoke and said, we need to readdress this because she's come out again on the plane, and I'm like, what are we going to say about it? You know, what exactly can we say other than she's come out again on the plane, and she's now been given a. I mean, Dave, I don't know what the US rules, but it seems a bit quick for her to be flying again.
It's extremely quick. But
she told an entire. She stopped an entire plane from taking off.
Mm-hmm.
This was how long ago? 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's now flying again.
She could be banned from that airline forever. Like they'll do that from an airline, but not from all airlines, unless like TSA steps in and said, "Listen, you can't do that." And that's pretty rare for them to ban someone outright. Airports can do it. Individual airports. Like there's a lot of leeway. It's not like one governing body that just makes these huge choices. Like like you say, she was on American Airlines when that happened, or United, or whatever it was. They may never let her fly again, or they may let her fly again in 6 months or 3 years or whatever. It's really kind of up to them. So
that's the bit
maybe
that stands out to me. I just think it's odd that she's back flying again.
She's got on a different flight. I mean, that's very possible. Yeah, I just don't fly with US. I fly with United now. You know,
and she doesn't look anything like the original woman.
I think they look alike. I think it's the same lady.
Similar. They both have hair and breasts and a nose. I
think it's interesting that is how you profile women. We'll touch on that, I think, on another show. Probably a rock fin, so we don't get the cancel culture here for the patriarchy. But I for the Joe Rogan thing, I think they dropped a lot of interesting ideas that I've never really heard any of those people talk about in public. I mean, you hear it in the conspiracy world, obviously, right? But I think it was interesting that they were fielding those out loud.
Especially there as well. I mean, it's such a beautiful place to to start fires, Rogan, because it feels like the alternative media, but it's the largest media company in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, like as far as a single show, don't come at me with fucking Disney, you pricks. You know what I mean? Like he has more viewers than CNN and Fox News and fucking the BBC.
Anybody.
Yeah, but it feels like two people just sat talking at home, but it's huge. So
it's the biggest. It's the biggest. And when you and why tackle ufology on the biggest
wild
thing
about
in the world?
that. Joe's wild about Joe Rogan still being the biggest podcast in the world is the fact it's only on Spotify. And so he's losing over half of the possible market share.
Well, Spotify's free.
Yeah, no, but I forget to watch Joe Rogan because he's on Spotify. Because I use the Apple Podcast app most of the time.
Right.
I have to go and check, like make a point because I don't use Spotify. I have to make a point of going to the Spotify app just to listen to Joe Rogan. I don't use the Spotify app for anything else.
Maybe that's just us.
There's a lot of Apple users, mate.
Mm-hmm. They got like 60% of the US share smartphones.
Yeah. Right.
And if you look like I mean, obviously, fucking my podcast or our podcast is nowhere near Rogan sort of territory.
Are we on Apple?
Yeah, we're on everything. Yeah, we have more listeners on Apple than Spotify.
All right.
Spotify don't have a big market share when it comes to podcasts.
Dude, I have subscriptions to everything. I don't have one to Spotify. I don't care for it. I don't like it. I like Joe Rogan's podcast is one of the ones on there, and some of the other ones I listen to, I went ahead and clicked so gives me a reason to check it.
Mm-hmm.
But I miss Joe Rogan being on YouTube. I wish he'd go to Rockfin.
I don't think he'll go to Rockfin. I think
no, he won't.
I think he'll go to Rumble.
Yeah, I do too. Well, we just got to keep building all the platforms as best we can.
Well, like I said before, all of the links are in the link tree that's there. So if you want to start listening to us in audio form, you can find it there.
Go sniff them.
What?
Go sniff them. The
How
links.
much wine have you had today?
Just 2 glasses. That's it.
I don't believe you.
I feel like you're lying to us right now.
This is water.
It needs to be.
It certainly does. No, on a serious note, though, do you guys think that Joe believes Corbell's stuff and George Knapp's? Do you think he buys it?
I think he wants to. I think he wants to believe. I want to believe. You know,
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
This is not me saying I don't believe. This is me just saying, does he actually buy that? Because there was a show we did a bit back, and I think the hashtag is still here, when we were all talking about fucking, wouldn't it be fucking great if what's his name? Weinstein and Lazar happened, and we said this would be amazing. I was actually surprised that Joe didn't turn around to George and Corbell and say, well, I had Weinstein on and he was saying this, that, and the other. You know, this would make a great fucking conversation. Could you reckon we could get these two on together? Just as part of this conversation. It doesn't mean to say it had to happen, but I'm surprised it didn't get mentioned.
So that CIA guy I was talking about, his name's John Ramirez, and he says in 2027, aliens will reveal themselves.
Really? Interesting.
We need to look this guy up. We need to try and have him on. I bet we could reach out and he could ignore us. One guy I've been talking to, he started to ignore us. I don't know why, or ignore me.
That's most of the people in this field. But boys, what do you think to that? What do you think to Joe not mentioning Weinstein when Weinstein said that he would love to speak to Lazar?
What, on that show?
Yes. Do you think that may have been a thing that Corbell may have brought up before? And let's say, listen, Joe, I don't want to address this.
I think it's bad form to use the guests you've got on to try and hook another show up.
Okay, I get you.
And not only that, Joe Rogan, like, this is the thing on YouTube that fucking, I think people don't get. It doesn't build your audience, but the fucking baiting and drama, and let's use these people to set them up and tear down other one and ambush. It just irritates people. It alienates people that never want to come back on. You know, and people who watch his show don't like it. Like, remember when Rogan and Crowder had that back and forth?
Yes.
And Rogan went on there and apologized for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that was out of line, whatever. That's the reality. I think that's why all these little YouTube channels, just like ours, so many of them don't get traction, is because people are doing something that only caters to a very small demographic of people. And the larger demographic of people won't listen to us because they just don't want to deal with that dramatic bullshit and get tied in. You know what I mean? I don't know. Tearing down things is not the way to build anything. You know, causing conflicts. If Weinstein wants that and Lazar wants that, I'm sure Joe would definitely host that. I mean, why wouldn't he? It'd be a good show, but I don't think it'd be on him to be out like on live on air pushing for it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I think the big problem with people shitting on everything is the fact that it's easier to stay in it's easier to live with a false belief in your own intelligence than it is to turn around and say, I have no idea what's going on. This is all fucking weird. Nobody seems to know what's going on in any of this. But if you find a person like the I mean, I've definitely changed my opinion on Mick West. I 100% believe that man now is a paid disinformation guy. Like 100%.
Which one?
Mick West. Yeah. It's the I thought he was in it for the right reasons at first, and then it just became all too obvious that he had to be first. You know, when it came to debunking stuff, I'm quite happy for people to debunk stuff, whatever. If that's what my cats are fighting. If that floats your boat, then it's up to you. But he had to be there, and there's something so strange, like the way he flipped from chemtrails to UFOs just like that overnight. Right? No, this
Lee,
is my
the
thing
UFO
now.
community doesn't know that. I
Well,
guarantee the UFO
no, they
community
probably
does not know
they
that.
probably don't. But he was heavily involved with Metabunk and another debunking website, and he was all over the chemtrail thing. And I don't particularly believe in chemtrails. I don't.
We did a show on it, and
we did.
somebody commented saying, "Oh, it's not my thing. I don't watch that." But what they didn't actually realize is the show actually debunked most of it.
Yeah, it's because people are scared. People like that's if you can't watch something in case you will get upset by it, you're a fucking bitch, and you don't deserve to watch it in the first place. But it's I don't get that. I don't get the idea of someone go, well, this clearly isn't for me. You go, well, you haven't watched it, so how do you know it's not for you? None of us jumped on the train.
I mean, that's the thing. That show, that chemtrail show, we thought that Nick was going to be a chemtrail guy. Turns out he actually wasn't.
No, he had some good stuff. Yeah,
we spoke about chemtrails for about an hour. And then
we spoke about chemtrails for an hour, and then we went into talk about fucking psychedelics. It was a really good show, and
that was a crazy show.
Yeah. if someone would have strapped their big boy pants on, he'd have found out. But there's something strange by the way he flip flopped like that. That blew my mind when I realized it. But I think he's. I mean, it could be a way of propping it up, to be perfectly honest, because if you wanted to create tribalism, then you need somebody like Mick West to come in that's gonna antagonize people.
So, Lee, what are you saying? Are you putting this out there? Are you saying that Mick West has been actually paid?
Yes, I think Mick West is paid to do what he's doing.
How do you think we get paid?
I don't know. I'd like to get paid for doing the opposite. I'd like to be getting paid for doing what Corbell's doing.
Doing mushrooms in the desert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Partying with George Knapp. Going on Rogan.
I don't think I'd want to do either of those, to be honest with you.
Going Rogan.
I mean, the mushrooms in the desert, sure. But yeah, I don't want to go on Rogan.
No, I'd love to go on Rogan. I'd have it hard on all the way through it.
I think that's for his OnlyFans. I think it's a different show altogether. I'd like to meet him. I don't think I have anything interesting to add to the conversation that would hold long form podcast. I think we both sit there and just have the exact. What do you think about that? I don't know. What do you think about that? I don't know. I don't know what I think. I don't know what I think. That's. I don't think that'd be a good show.
Yeah, I just find it really weird. We get somebody like Mick West who made a fucking skateboard video game, and now in the world of something that
man that you hated, this is what this all stems from. This people that Lee does not like Tony Hawk's skateboarder.
I don't hate it. I don't like skateboarding. I was never
this
a skater.
is it. So everything that Lee's saying, just take it with a pinch of salt. He has a problem with Tony Hawk's.
No, I don't. I was just a Britpop kid. That's all it was. I was listening to Manson, not Blink-182.
No, I get what you. On a serious note, I get what you're saying, mate.
Yeah, he made computer games. He made computer games, and now he's the fucking last word in fucking UFOs and chemtrails. Get fucked. Get all the way fucked.
People, and I will say this: there is stuff that Mick West puts out, and I'm like, he's got a fucking valid fucking point there. He did something the other day. Oh yeah, that was it. He showed the exact fucking filters that have been used on the flight, the Malaysian Air.
Yeah,
flight.
That wasn't him. That was somebody else.
Okay, but he reused it. He reused it. Nick. fucking had faith in you there, you motherfucker. You reuse somebody else's shit. So he didn't even debunk that. So what's he debunked?
What?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, there was the bird, which is bullshit. Then everything else is kind of conjecture. Everything else is like his opinion that the supporters jump on top of. And sorry, Dave, just quickly.
No.
That's the funny thing. Like Mr. Reckless Ryan says here, Lee is a diehard believer. Of course, he has a conjure conspiracy theory of Mark West. I don't believe in UFOs. I should be on his side. Do you know what I mean?
You say you don't believe in UFOs, but you've just messaged me to. I'm sorry, but you messaged me today.
Well, I saw lights in the sky. Yeah, but they were
Last
probably
night.
satellites. They were probably
Hey,
satellites.
You didn't share that with me. What's this? It's all
What?
your favorite now?
No, we were already in the middle of a
I guess
conversation.
Yeah, we were already
about
in a
the weather, and you said no, but you said it stood still and then moved. That's not a satellite.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Satellites
They're
can't
just
do
lights
that.
in the sky. You can't
Yeah,
tell what they are.
exactly. That's it. They're just lights in the sky. I didn't reach from a phone try and film anything because it was just pointless lights in the sky.
I already knew that they were real before I went to Dave's, but when I sat in that place,
Take it easy.
when I sat in that place and I looked to the sky and I had the equipment that I looked to the sky with, I know it's real. I have no idea what they are. Those were not satellites. Satellites moved far too fast to be that. But you just said, Lee, you saw it like today. Like we had a conversation about the weather. We were just talking about humidity or whatever. I can't remember what it was. But that stood still and then moved.
Yeah, it seemed to.
That's
But
fucking.
But it's still a light in the sky. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
exactly. There's nothing. There was it was. If it was anything, it was probably a satellite. It was too high to be a plane, and there was no lights on it. There's no flashing lights. I saw two half an hour each in between them, and then another 10 minutes after that, a plane flew over my house, and I had a good comparison of what like a passenger plane flying over as well.
You guys should buy
well
night
too
vision.
high. Yeah, it should do. It was a pretty bright night as well last night. I was amazed I saw anything, but I was sat in my hot tub, and it was like 11 o'clock at night.
I mean, you could even Gen 2's not bad. Like Gen 2's not bad for looking up at the sky at night and seeing things. It doesn't have to be. There's a huge the price difference really starts to go up as you continue up. But yeah,
see, that's my thing. Is that there is no evidence. This is my big thing of it. There is no evidence in any technological solid craft. No decent evidence. Yeah, most. I don't.
Fair point.
You know, I don't think there's anything you could look at and go, right, that's definitely something. That's definitely something there. And I always say, I was amazed. I was amazed that by coming on this show and then speaking to people that have been in the field for so long, I thought they'd have something that I hadn't seen, and the only one I thought was anywhere near credible was the one where you could see the little aliens inside the ship in the thing. And then as soon as I found out that was a fucking ship, the bridge of a ship, I was like, oh well, that's the only one I believed, and now that's gone.
We've had a payment made by Grush and Joe. I'll take that. Thanks, Skinny Bob. We appreciate your love, my lad.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, if you go to say the Skinwalker Ranch thing or other areas like that where they have high phenomenon, you hear people talk about lights in the field, lights in the trees. We watched that really interesting crop circle video with the light moving around.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just kind of appeared. Again, just a fucking light.
Just a light.
It's a light. We don't know, like, not saying it's more or less, but it's just a light.
But see, that's the thing, like, because the Mick West fanboys are in the chat, and like I can't say the guy's name. Falgaron. He said Mick West gets the UFO for folks mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Mick West. I'm mad at the idea.
Certainly not.
No, but I'm mad at the fact that, like, I'm as mad at him as I am for people that believe everything David Icke says, because that's what Mick West is. He's just the other extreme of the crazy conspiracy theorist. He's a crazy realist.
Yes, the crazy believers usually go with confirmation bias. They hear something that tells them what they believe is correct, and it has to be. Mick West appeals to the other side when he's like, oh, well, it's obviously this. You don't have to have proof behind it. It doesn't have to have science behind it. He said it, and they're like, oh, no, it's clearly been debunked, and they move on. Like, wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
When was it? What are you talking about? Well, these two things are obviously it, and X, Y, Z, Zeta, and we move on. It's like, wait, what? What other opinions do we have? Did you get an optical physicist here to take a look at it? Wow. The academic guys are on it, okay. Then, like, so the video game guy is the absolute authority. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm sure he's a very smart guy. At least he seems to be from everything I've read. But it's still confirmation bias, right? We're taking his word. That's absolutely what it is, and he moves on. And that's it. And anyone who wants to believe it, believes it. And those who don't, they go to the other side.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough people just sitting in the middle going, well, is it real? Could be. Is it fake? Could be.
So you're doing
firmly where I
nothing
sit.
more. You're doing nothing more than like the hardcore like Trump fan or hardcore Biden fan, but it's like it's exactly the same thing. You just like Trump will save us, or everything's fine with Biden. He's not crazy at all. It's just he's batting for your team, so you have to stand by him. And I like, this is the thing. I genuinely don't believe I have a team. I was for a while. I thought in politics, I thought there was sides to be on, but then as soon as you realize that that's fucked, as soon as you realize that there's no such thing as political parties, that and they get together in a room, especially in the UK anyway, they get together in the room, they shout at each other in a wooden room, and then after that they all go to the same bar and talk to each other. It's very difficult I to be on any side. I think I pretty much fucking stand in the middle of fucking everything these days.
I have a team. We have a logo and we have jackets. You guys have seen.
You do,
logo.
yes, I've seen.
I have a team. 100%. 100% have a team. So there's nothing wrong with having a team. Yeah, it just is though. People.
It's odd that you have your own logos that nobody else sees.
It's true. We do have logos that no one else sees. We have patches. I meant to give you guys some patches.
See,
I forgot to do that. Yeah,
you can't even win now by saying I'm not an extremist on any side. Like nobody can win anymore.
I just like that he recognized that we're enlightened. I appreciate.
Yeah,
that.
I appreciate
Thank
that
you.
too. I appreciate this more though. Thank you, Mr. Squatch.
Oh my lad.
I just need some attention, like the crazy.
Mr. Squatch, you should have come out earlier that night because we'd already had far too much liquor.
Yeah, you caught us at that. We were fucked sideways in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that Dave had never had a more accurate description being given than we were fucked sideways.
Oh yeah,
all the way
raw
sideways.
on the table. Sideways,
we met Mr. Squatch in where was it?
Nashville,
yeah.
How do you forget that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I believe the term for what is we were on it. We were on it that day.
We were on it.
Yeah, we started that party at like noon, right? Because we checked in.
It was
like
about 12-ish that we started drinking.
Yeah, so we were Yeah, sometime around then. Yeah, it was a good.
And Squash met Squash. Mrs. Squash met us at about 6, was it? Something like that.
5 or 6, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were pretty fucked by then. Like, we'd already met all the bars and started back over at the beginning when we met it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh. Little shorts we were posting were fun. That's good music too. Mm-hmm. When are you guys coming out again?
I'm gonna come out next year.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Nipples.
That makes sense.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make it
I
out
thought
there.
Dave's coming to us. Like, you know, my mum's already said that. Like, Dave. If Dave's coming,
what are you doing?
Ollie, a lot of people's moms love me. Okay,
my mum's already said that she's got an Airbnb. She says he's staying there, he's free of charge. Blah 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 blah. I'll take him. We'll make sure we've got.
Hey Ollie,
you stay.
Why did I have to?
Why
did I have to stay on your fucking couch?
He wanted you close.
See, it was for a day.
Yeah.
Right,
I can sleep in any bed for just a night.
Oh, my mum said that you will stay as well in the Airbnb because it's got 2 beds.
He wanted to watch you. No, you're snoozing away. Ollie's standing over you, watching.
Well, I think we should venture out. I do think we should venture out. We should go to some Stonehenge shit and that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Other than a bunch of rocks. I mean.
The thing is, I can't bring any of my fun technology. Can't leave the country. I would get in trouble trying to check that in through customs. Big trouble. So you have to get it. You guys need to go buy some night vision.
Moody's pulling up. He said, "No mum jokes, lads. Come on. I'm not fussy. I'll come in. I'll come on. Don't mind."
Oh.
On a serious note, though, do you honestly think it will happen? Do you think Grush will go on Joe Rogan, or do you think that's just like a little cheeky thumbnail?
I think he's gonna talk to Joe Rogan at some point if he hasn't already. I bet they will meet and go to dinner and have a nice thing, whether he goes on his show or not. If they haven't already.
So do you think that conversation that conversation happened that day or before?
I'd be very surprised if they didn't go for dinner the night before that show.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, like, everyone's like, classified information. He needs a skiff. He needs, you know, what you do. You leave your cell phone at the house. Leave your fucking smartwatch at the house. You guys go stand off in a field.
Yeah.
Have any conversation you like.
Naked.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how that happens, man. But
so you think that conversation happened between Joe Rogan, George?
If it hasn't happened, it's going to happen.
And Carl Bell.
I guarantee they have told him everything that they know or think, all the things that they admit and dance around. And I think Joe Rogan's language is specific to trying to get them to give as much as they can. I think that's why they did. I think that's why for the first time you've heard them talk about theories of what all this could be about. That's something these people have never broached before. Like George Knapp has stayed as far away from that stuff as he can. And if he's been running around with Lear and these other guys talking about bodies as souls for containers and farming and harvesting from where the product of extra dimensional material, beans, you know, like, holy shit.
Right. This is fucking wild, right? A couple of people have said this in the show. So old XOXO, I'm not just jumping on you because I was going to pull up like 2 other people's comments, but they've already gone up and yours is there. Grush won't go on Rogan. He can't say anything. What's Joe going to ask? Now, this is a guy that sat in front of Congress, and said that the US has recovered crashed alien vehicles or non-terrestrial vehicles with non-human pilots. So how have we got from, right? How have we got from, we're all interested in UFOs. We're all interested in conspiracies. It's why we come on here. 2, oh, that guy that said that there's flying saucers and aliens, he's got nothing to say. How is that nothing? Do you know what I mean? We've got such fucking nepotism towards all this now that I'm baffled, because regardless of what you think the reason is behind it, the Congress thing was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Anyone on here, on YouTube, on fucking Rumble, on Odyssey, on Rockfin, on the fucking BBC or CNN,
We're
that
on
tells
all of them.
you,
Apart
but
from the
tells
BBC
you,
and CNN.
well, neither of us touch kids, but the none
Well, I
three
came
of
in at
us.
a weird moment.
But the the thing is, we've gone to trying to, these people are trying to say that a US intelligence officer, a fucking like Top Gun pilot, 2 of them, because it wasn't the other guy, he was a pilot as well, wasn't he?
I think he's a radar guy. I think.
Yeah,
But there, he had another female pilot that was there. I believe there were some others. They just didn't go straight
Dietrich,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're just there going, but like it's see, like even reckless Ryan says evidence would be interesting. Some guys telling stories is not interesting to me. Not interested in me under fucking chance of fucking perjury.
But see, the thing is, man, like Ryan, you're listening to guys tell other people's stories about stories other people have heard.
Yeah, and you don't even
That's what
like
we're
this
doing.
shit. That's the funny thing. I don't get what you're in this for. You're fucking.
No, man, it's a little S&M. He's liking to torture himself. It's a little pain, nipple clamps, spanking.
I can't get the things that this whole thing that this is nothing. It's at least something, right? Even if it's not, even if it's not aliens, even if it's not fucking disclosure, whatever that is now, because realistically, we just had disclosure. You want, like, everyone wanted the government, some sort of government recognition. A fucking special services guy in fucking Congress saying we've got crash flying saucers, we've got alien bodies. That's disclosure. It's happened, and you don't want it. It's fucking weird.
You know why I would like to see Grush on Rogan? Because XOXO brings up something. The reason I would like to see Grush on Rogan is just like when he had Lazar on, and Lazar talked about, potential. For the first time, you bring up, like, they potentially excavated from like an archaeological site. That threw everything off for anyone who was watching, right? Like, that's an interesting piece. Something new. Because the like long form interviews just aren't really a thing till podcasts. I would like to see Grush for 3 hours, even if he's rehashing everything he can say to death. Cool. It'll give us a chance to watch him say it.
Yeah.
Right. That's something.
I agree. I think it's if you get him there, he gets time to expand, and that's what I don't think people realize. That 60 minutes thing, like, that's an hour, so you're trying to do all these things. You can say there's like 3 major talking points across that 60-minute interview. Yeah, well, you can take those 3 major talking points and you can elaborate on them for an entire hour. So and let's face, like, he did a 5-hour podcast with Post Malone the other day. So it's not like the guy isn't willing to give people time if people want to talk. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I find it.
I saw Ryan approach Grush yet? Do we know?
No, we don't know.
So, do you think if Grush goes on Rogan, let's say it happens, does he go on his own, or does he go with Coltard?
Mm-hmm. So, on his own.
You think it'll happen on his own?
Yeah, they're not a duo.
I feel like he'll need the Coltard. Like,
why?
like it's like Lazar had Corbell. I feel like One, I think.
No, but Coulthard, the Lazar.
I think
Lazar
for Joe.
Lazar had Corbell because Corbell had been making a documentary on him for over a year. The Coulthard was just there because he was the interviewer that interviewed him.
So do you think with the Lazar thing, like Rogan arranged it through Corbell? Corbell says, "Yeah, I'll bring Lazar."
What? I don't. Sorry.
Like, do you think with the Corbell thing with Joe Rogan and Lazar, it got arranged through Corbell?
Yeah,
They
they
got
talked
arra-
about it. They've
Yeah.
talked about it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of it. Yeah.
So the reason why I think Coulthard will come on with Grush, I don't know how much the conversation would be able to go on. So I do think there'll be certain points where Joe Rogan will ask questions if this happened, where Grush just cannot answer, legally cannot answer.
Then he'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think there would have to be that second person, like a
Joe Rogan interviewed Macaulay Culkin for 2.5 hours and didn't mention Michael Jackson's name once.
That was odd.
No, it's not odd. It's just Macaulay Culkin said, "I'll come on your show, but we can't talk about Michael Jackson."
Yeah. He's not there to alienate. He's not like trying to get this gotcha journalism.
That's the thing. Yeah.
No, I get that with Joe. He's not that guy.
And people don't like it, dude. People don't like.
He doesn't
that.
need to do that shit. I mean, at the end of the day, he's said this many times. He says, "I interview the people I want to interview. I do the shows that I want to do."
Mm-hmm.
He's got fuck you money, so he doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's already won. He's already won. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to see it. I'd like to see more of the interviews come. I'd like to see him on long form. But it doesn't matter ultimately because the reality is like we're going to get the ground, but no, it's not. It's not. And I thought it was interesting when they were talking, George Knapp and Jeremy and Rogan, and they were going back and forth. Like, what do you guys think it is? Why won't they talk it? Like Rogan stayed pretty persistent about that. So obviously I don't know about obvious, but I would think that they had a conversation previous, like at dinner, telling their theories or, because Joe's big question, why don't they tell the world? And Joe's even said it, on podcast people before, if you guys tell me, we'll shut this down, I'll say whatever you want. We'll go outside, just tell me the truth. I'm very much like that too. I would like to know, fuck everybody else. But if nobody really knows, but there's this, conglomeration of ideas, right? Like, it could be any of these things. What would be enough that they would be afraid would freak people out in this day and age? It's got to be pretty far out there, right? Even if they said all religions were made up by these things to try and control us, I don't think that'd break the world. At least not Western society.
I don't know about you, don't know about you too, but I would stop this podcast tomorrow to know the truth. Just to know the truth.
What else would you do?
I don't know.
Why? It's an interesting.
But I want to know the truth more than anything.
Now, do you want to know the truth, or do you want to talk to people about it?
Do you want to get paid? You got to pick one of the three.
I think the truth.
But what would you do with it?
I think the truth's more important than anything.
You couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, so what would you do with it?
Because I think the truth it leads more into what we're here for, the purpose of human beings.
What if they don't?
It's more important than the podcast.
You know what I think? I think they don't know the truth. I think they just have ideas, and the ideas are scary. You know what I mean? And for their perspective, it's the truth. But is it? I don't know. I've seen people that believe things to be fact and act as though they were, only to have a bunch of people around them know that wasn't it.
What is it? There's a word for it, isn't it? And I forgot what it is. It's something along the lines of after 100 years to only 10% of everything we've learned over 100 years turns out to be true. Something like that. I can't remember. Maybe this is the next phase of human development. I mean, maybe like it's what's his name? I'm fucking terrible with other people's names, like names and birthdays. I really struggle with. Greer, maybe he's right. Maybe there is some sort of fucking big vast space brotherhood that's waiting for us to vibrate at the right fucking frequency before we can join them. Or maybe Ike's right, and I mean, realistically, when you look at some of the stuff that Corbell, Knapp, and Rogan were talking about, that was fucking Ike territory. The idea of fucking
absolutely.
hardcore. Yeah.
Emotion harvesting interdimensional beings.
Yeah, they're farming us from another dimension.
Yeah.
That's why they perpetuate war.
The whole soul thing being brought up over and over again on that show, about three or four times on that Joe Rogan show.
Yeah.
The soul thing got brought up. Is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's by accident. I think that's. I was going to say.
I also enjoyed Rogan. I enjoyed Rogan calling out Neil deGrasse Tyson as well.
Oh, I missed that bit.
Because
yeah,
if anyone is a grifter out there, it's him.
If anyone is a government asset, it's fucking him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he say about Neil deGrasse Tyson?
He just said how he thought it was ridiculous that Neil deGrasse Tyson will turn around and say that aliens wouldn't be interested in us. He said,
I remember that bit. Yeah, with the most interesting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The hilarity is like Neil deGrasse Tyson's speech patterns, his fake exuberance. That come on, you know what I mean? That's like this is bad acting. He speaks exactly like someone that I know that you guys met at my party.
I think I know what you mean.
Guy in the corner talking crazy shit.
Yeah.
100% of government agencies. 100%, like legitimately. And
it's designed, isn't it? It's designed.
Lee came to me and went, "That guy's full of that guy." Well, he didn't say he's full of it, but he said,
"I did."
Guy. He did.
Yeah,
that guy has unbelievable security clearances.
Oh yeah, no,
fucking.
I just knew at that time. I'd have liked to have had a proper conversation with him.
He wanted us to know that,
but he'd obviously had a couple of drinks. I'd had a load of drinks, and I felt like he was trying to toy with me when we were having a conversation.
Yeah,
I had no interest in like I had that feeling of like going like, I'm no fucking genius, but I'm clearly smarter than you think I am, and it was I had no interest in being toyed with at that time, so I gave him to Ollie.
With him, I'm always wondering what's true and what's not. What's true and what's not.
And I had a conversation before him with your machine of a mate, so I couldn't hold conversation with him very well.
They're both intense characters.
No, because of what your machine had given me.
I know. They're both intense characters to try and keep up with. Yeah, and the crazy thing is at a party like that too, where there's that the mixture of people, like. The hilarity is everybody there knows each other, so you couldn't slip someone in we didn't know, right? You know what I mean? Like you two were the biggest unknown quantities there. So everybody mostly feels pretty relaxed. And I'm sure you noticed most people just kind of avoided you guys because they didn't know you guys. And so the shit you hear people talk about there, because a lot of people don't even bring their phones, right? They don't worry about it because we have phone boxes, right? You put your phone in the fucking Faraday cage and that's that. You guys didn't have to do that because, I didn't want you to feel like we were about to kidnap you and eat you and riterally sacrifice you.
I already felt like that, Dave. So,
it's called Southern hospitality.
I was just happy that food turned up to your party.
And you weren't the food. Yeah. There's a lot of government people here. Yeah. Yeah. What are you guys eating? Don't worry about it. How's that drink taste? Yeah, but yeah, it's the hilarity is like those kind of parties is when you just hear some crazy shit. So like I guarantee whatever you heard from that guy is probably 40% true, 40% spin, and 20% bullshit. But you don't know what's what. You know, you don't know what's what. Fun times.
Great time.
You guys come back out. We'll see if we can arrange that again. Something like that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe
we have those about twice a year, 3 times a year.
I think we'd probably be aiming for the same sort of time. I reckon.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's probably a good time to wrap it up.
It is.
Well, we are going into private stories. We don't want people to be left out.
I think it's a good show. Remember, people, if you do any sort of creative stuff and you need help doing it, there is a Fiverr link down the bottom. Use it. And if you purchase something, we get commission. So do that.
Wait, before we go, we got to recognize Moody's. Fucking, where is it?
Moody.
What's Moody saying? Me and Dave both have perfectly round faces, whereas Ollie has a rectangular face. I have my theories. That's why. It's not. It's like we just like making fun of retards. I've enjoyed this show. I really don't know how to end it, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I will say that I have fulfilled my my threat of putting people in timeout for dominating the chat. So that was a threat which was clearly seen through. Because look, you can see other people talking now. It's great.
I will say this because it needs promoting. I promoted it on Friday's show. We've got a very a big date in the history of the last 20 years, more than that. I don't know. But 9/11 is coming up, and we have got a special coming up on Rockfin, where there's going to be quite a few people on. All of us boys here, the main team. We got Stu. We've got
George Bush.
We've got Nick. We've got Hidden.
Colin
Who
Powell.
knows? It might end up being a big thing with a few people in a room, all putting stuff out there. It's going to be a 9/11 party on Rockfin. With
Hengus73 asked if we're going to have an after show on Rockfin. Not today.
No, it's a good idea though, and it's something
we do need to do
definitely
that.
want doing
we
too.
are working on something, Lee, Dave. We're working on the Discord. So if you want to become a Patreon, a channel member, there is going to be a link at some point where we set up a Discord.
I think we'll sort that this week. We'll have that up and running this week and ready for you. So if you subscribe to us on any of the things, you can give us money. So
because we need to get something back, and we like
subscribe
to
and
chat shit.
Rockfin. Yeah, subscribe and Rockfin. We'll give you the link to the Discord. Obviously, if you're a YouTube channel member, you can get a link to the Discord. If you're a patron on either of the patrons, you can you'll get access to the Discord. So any of those things. We've tentatively had the idea of maybe doing like once a month, doing some sort of hangout on Discord. That might be quite fun. So just try and
do that. Discord's quite cool for that.
Yeah.
You can loads of people can come in at once and just...
Ollie, stop trying to turn everything into an audio gangbang.
I like audio gangbangs.
More isn't always better.
So did you one point, Musty Audio.
What?
You liked audio at one point. You Musty Audio.
Yeah, one-on-one interviews is I think you'll find.
Yes, that is true. I do like too much noise. You're right.
So yeah, Oh, Mr. Rickstein says, "Why am I in timeout? Because you kept posting like every 3 fucking seconds, and I couldn't see anybody chat. I said this last week. Post all the time. I'm gonna put you in timeout so I can see other people's chat, especially
At
when you're just
least he didn't
talking."
ban you. He could have slapped you. He just
Oh,
give
I
you a
wouldn't.
slap
I
on the
wouldn't
bottom.
ban
Give you a slap
anyone.
on the bum.
Yeah, the no, I wouldn't ban anyone. It's just so I can see other stuff. And if you're constantly saying the same fucking thing and it's all I can see,
What was
it's
he
not
saying?
ideal. Oh, it's just everything's bullshit, isn't it? It's all bullshit. We're bullshit. UFOs are bullshit. Conspiracies are bullshit. The fact that I bummed his mum was bullshit.
He's still here.
That is amazing. Hey, whatever.
It's
Everybody's into their own thing.
It's
We love
all in
you,
good
Ryan.
fun. There's no fucking spite behind it at all. It's just so I can fucking see things better. Right, let's fucking call it, lads. I think it's probably about time. It's been a good day. Ollie's hammered. Me and
I am
Dave
hammered.
carried the show on our
You did.
fucking manly shoulders.
I've
See,
got manly shoulders.
What?
where are they?
Do you keep them in a closet or something?
These are big motherfucking shoulders.
You,
Carry on.
It's interesting that they would use PTSD to discredit him for a war veteran.
I know.
That seems insane. You're shaming someone for seeking help from something that most soldiers come back and have to deal with. That's really insane.
It's low, is what it is.
Well, it doesn't make sense either. It just doesn't make sense. Like, how can you do that? It doesn't make sense in terms of the reader's perception. Because I think most readers are going to look at that and go, well, the guy came back from war and he sought help. How many guys come back from war and they're fine?
Astonishing when you hear what they're actually doing, and I think it's a good step.
I find this one a little weird too. The exercise of eminent domain.
Yeah.
They can go and take anything from
Yeah.
anyone who's got anything.
Yeah, look at
basically,
this. The
if-
federal government shall exercise eminent domain over any and all recovered technologies of unknown origin and biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or entities in the interests of the public good. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Huh. Chat's still talking.
Is it?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Interesting.
Is it good?
I don't know. Fucking chat. Who knows?
I'm not that.
You know, I think I'm going to pass on the fucking 9/11 thing. You have that many people? Jesus Christ, man.
Well, it's not that many.
It's fucking everybody.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.